Guys, this video is going to be bad. One, because my hair just looks like, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm behind on haircuts. I've been wearing a hat for 48 hours. But also because it's about something that is just very uncomfortable to talk about. It's something that needs to be talked about. It's very uncomfortable because it involves somebody that most of us love through some sort of parasocial relationship. And possibly even look up to, depending on if you're a business person, if you're a designer, if you're creative, if you're a content creator, whatever. You've probably looked up to this person in some way, and now we know that this person is they're just a regular person like everybody else. And just like everybody else, they've done something that was bad and tried to hide it and hope that it wouldn't come out. We've all done those things, but it's different when it involves breaking the law. It's different when it involves a relationship between an adult and a minor.
Why don't you take a seat right over there?
Especially when there's like a power play there. And oftentimes we can find it very easy to forgive our heroes. But at what point can we no longer forgive the person? Do we have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to breaking the law? Or when it becomes, again, something that is illegal but also immoral? When the lack of morals step in, is that when we decide that it is time to have this zero tolerance policy? Okay, so let's break down like the timeline and the allegations. A clip of Tana alleging that she slept with Cody Ko when she was 17 years old.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Ko.
Now this clip came out a long time ago, like almost 3 years ago. And all I can find around it is a deleted YouTube drama Reddit post. And so that came out and maybe a few people knew about it, but didn't really seem to blow up. Again, I think the biggest thing is that maybe at that time it felt like Tana had a lack of like credibility. People just thought it was her like making a joke. It was sort of swept under the rug. Because back when she was like 17, 18 years old, they did have a collab together. 2 different videos, one on her channel, one on his channel, which is still up, available to watch, which is crazy. That's when it first came out, nothing ever happened. And so then it surfaced again like 3 or 4 months ago in an interview with her. And again, it was kind of swept under the rug. I remember seeing a little bit of outrage about it on TikTok, but that was about it. It didn't really seem like it hit like the mainstream YouTube audience as much as it has now. I think it goes back to like Cody being like this poster boy. He just had like a kid with his wife, and so we're kind of all just like, well, not me because I didn't have a YouTube channel at that time. The majority of everybody was like, we'll just kind of ignore it because it's Cody. We don't want to like get into that. He's too good to have done something like this, and we'll just kind of forget that it exists. The thing you have to remember is that if she was 17, Cody would have been 25. And so you may be saying like, well, that's not that big of a deal. Like it's only 8 years difference.
Why don't you take a seat right over there?
They're peers, they work together. You know, it's just one of those things that happens. But you have to remember, again, 17 versus 25. At 25 years old, you would have been through college, graduated, you've been working a full-time job for like 2 years at this point. And a 17-year-old is still in high school. So I want to throw that out there, that it doesn't matter that they were peers and working together and like up and coming YouTubers. That's still a 25-year-old and a high schooler.
It's like they call themselves Tiny Meat Gang. And everyone's mad at me.
Yeah. You were just helping the brand.
It also seemed like at that point, the TMG podcast started getting a little weird, just in terms of like Noelle and Cody not getting along as much. Like they definitely switched from being best friends to being just sort of like coworker type vibes. And I don't know if this has been a symptom of the first allegation coming out a while back, because Cody wasn't at Noelle's wedding and Noelle also wasn't in like Cody's wedding party. Noelle has been slowly distancing himself from Cody. In fact, he's already started his own podcast on his own YouTube channel, not a TMG podcast. This is on his own channel. And also started a podcast with Hunter from Meat Canyon. And of course, Cody started back up the Insanely Chill podcast. So there's a lot of things of them sort of going their own ways. And it doesn't seem like it's as much as we have artistic differences. We want to do our own things. We want to do different things. We don't want to always just be TMG duo. It feels more like there's a lot of tension and something definitely more awkward and like underlying going on. So Tana alleges in an interview, she talks about it again in another interview. And then the big clip that's been circulating that everybody has been really talking about now recently surfaces. It's from Tana's canceled podcast tour a live episode where she again alleges to sleeping with Cody Ko.
Who's the smallest dick you've ever had sex with?
Oh my God, do no one look at me, Cody Ko.
So then after this, people start finding other things where the dots start to connect. So not only has she talked about it multiple times, there's also an interview with Gabby Hanna where Gabby Hanna says that she knew a guy that was like making out with Tana, and she went and said, hey, she's underage, just want you to know. And then they went and hooked up after that.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then
and so there's a lot of speculation that that was Cody. Since then, Gabby has confirmed, and so has Tana. They've both confirmed that Gabby was talking about Cody, that Gabby did warn Cody, and they still went and hooked up after that. And then made a collab video together after that as well. And I've always heard people talk about how awkward this collab video is, and I've watched bits of it before, but it's just not like a very good video, so I just was not interested in watching all of it. But now that I watch it with this new understanding, it feels just so... It's like you can like taste like how thick the air is, and it's just so weird because again, this is a 25-year-old person in a 17-year-old's apartment making this video, and just the way that he is looking at her and eyeing her is just crazy creepy. And I love cringe. I love things that are cringy, but this is not cringy. This is immoral. This is disgusting, to say the least. For weeks now, these videos have been coming out, and it's been dead silent from Cody. And neither of these people are new to controversy, albeit Cody hasn't had as many controversies as Tana, but he has had his controversies in the past, particularly with this Vine. That he then apologized for only on Patreon. So he made an apology about it, and instead of doing it publicly, he could have put that on Twitter at least. He could have made a video about it. But instead of just not addressing it at all, he puts it on Patreon where only people who are paying him money can get to see the apology. So I honestly think that apology and the silence around this allegation comes from his managers. I believe that he's being advised to not speak on it or to wait until a plan comes around, or I can't really think of why he would have not have spoke about it by now. At least put something out there. And again, you can say, well, he's busy with his kid or busy with his wife or whatever. But the thing is, like, he's still been putting out videos on his second channel until a few days ago. And while all this is going on, his YouTube comments and his subreddit has been heavily censored. So if you go on his YouTube and comment anything that has to do with Tana, allegations, anything, it'll automatically be deleted. And same with his subreddit. There's been a lot of people that have went and posted things or are researching, looking through the subreddit, and noticed that things have been gone very quickly. So the moderators of that subreddit are also getting rid of things very quickly. And again, that could be more of his manager. Cody's a well-known investor in a lot of brands, and so there could be a lot of that sort of saving face going on. And I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that Cody should ignore it because his manager or his attorneys or whoever are advising him to ignore it. I'm just saying that when it comes to people who are being managed by other people or they have lawyers, it's not always them who is always doing the silencing, so to speak. It could be his manager, his lawyers who are working with his moderators or the people who manage his YouTube channel to censor these comments and delete these posts. Because I'm sure Cody doesn't upload his videos himself. I'm sure he reviews it and his editor or a team actually uploads the videos. So I'm sure Cody's very out of the day-to-day. Besides sitting down and recording videos, he is probably not doing a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So I think that's something to keep in mind here. I don't think it's okay that we're deleting posts or censoring YouTube comments, but as we've seen recently with the Manny Show incident where his management team was filing claims on his behalf.
Head of VidCon, I hired an agent to help me manage my monetization sharing, and they went beyond by filing a copyright claim on N-Queen's video and flagging some others.
Sometimes people who are in charge of other people do things for them, and unfortunately it comes back on them, if that makes sense. Kind of went all around the world with that one. I may be slightly guilty of ignoring it too. Not that I have like this huge platform where I am looked at as somebody to talk about this, but I have struggled with like really coming to terms with this. Again, talking about that parasocial relationship again. Cody is somebody that I've looked up to for a long time, and I know that a lot of other YouTubers also look up to him. But he does a lot of things that I aspire to do. Creating content, creating a media network, creating a podcast, having merch, having, all these things. I see what he's doing and I want to model the things that he does. So after hearing all this and coming to terms with it, it's been hard for me to make this video. It's been very uncomfortable. And it wasn't until D'Angelo Wallace made their video about Cody Ko that I decided that I really needed to make a video about it. They even called it an uncomfortable conversation about Cody Ko because it is an uncomfortable conversation. Again, it was something that I was like, I could silently unsubscribe and not follow along and no longer support Cody. But I think it's also important that even as somebody who is as small of a creator as I am, I think also needs to talk about it too and share our opinions on that. I think it shows that even when a creator as small as me makes a video, whether or not Cody will ever see this, I'm sure he won't, but it just shows the amount of support that somebody has and how not addressing these things correctly can ultimately affect the greater morale of the whole platform. What could have been done differently? How could this have been any different? First of all, when it first happened years ago, somebody should have made a statement of some kind. It should have either been Tana saying, hey, that was just a joke, I didn't mean it. Or it should have been Cody saying, hey, this happened and I need to talk about it and address it now. Because whether or not he addressed it with her then and they thought it would just kind of go away, both of them know better. Like they know that once it's on the internet, it's not going to go away. They make commentary about things. They know that it's not going to go away. It should have been addressed a long time ago. Then when it came out a few months ago, I know that Cody, had just had a baby, all those things. They definitely should have addressed it then. Because now you're not just thinking about your own empire. You're not just thinking about your own self. You now have a wife and child that are now going to be receiving the flack for whatever you do. So again, why was it not addressed then? And it should have been addressed then, but it wasn't. And now that it's being addressed for the third or fourth or fifth time maybe, now people are finally starting to take action with it. For example, Brittany Broski posted an Instagram story in response to all this. She says, I'm crushed to learn about the Cody allegations. If it's proven to be true, then it's extremely upsetting as a collaborator and longtime fan. I find all this disturbing, inappropriate, and just flat out disappointing. Okay, so first of all...
Well, who's Brittany?
Who's Brittany?
I know that most of you know who Brittany Broski is, but let's just say for the few of you who don't, this is who Brittany Broski is. So Brittany Broski is an internet comedian. She really came to light when she made the Kombucha Girl TikTok.
You know what?
No. Well.
And screenshots from that were memed to hell and back, so she gained a lot of notoriety from that. And kudos to her for being able to take that and turn it into a lot of internet fame. She's tight with H3H3 podcast. She's tight with Theo Vaughn. She's tight with a lot of people. And she's really funny. She's very quick and witty. I enjoyed her videos and all of her characters and things like that on TikTok. So for her to be talking about it now, she just found out about it, and also saying if it's true. We knew that it was true months ago. Before Cody got married, he texted Tana to make sure that they were okay. So let's say that it wasn't true. If it wasn't true, then the first time it ever came out years ago, Cody and Tana would have had some sort of message to say, hey, this was a bad joke that she made. It's not true. Let's remember that she just made a joke and this is not really what's happening. But that didn't happen.
It's hard in that regard. But the thing that was actually really heartbreaking to me and kind of crazy to me is after it started going viral, like seeing so many people like not believing me and being like, it's Tana, so who cares? It's this. And then I just started to feel bad for so many other girls who maybe look up to me and want to speak their truth and then see the way people just don't believe people. And
then it came out again right before they got married. And Cody texted Tana to make sure they were okay. He was about to get married. He wanted to sort of, clear the air, make sure everything was good. So we know for a fact that it was true. So then when it came up again three or 4 months ago, why didn't Brittany make a statement then? When it's very much been proven to be true it's just so weird. And it just shows what happens when you are trying to remain like brand friendly and appeal to like brands and the internet and choose your friends based on that. Because it's almost like she doesn't want to lose her friendship with Cody, so she's saying if it's true, but also being brand friendly by showing that she will not associate with Cody. And a big update as of yesterday, she had removed her Royal Core video with Cody. So it would seem that she does know it's true now, even though she knew it was true then, but still posted like it wasn't true. So next reaction to the allegations would be The Cut. The Cut is a YouTube channel that's known for its social experiment type content. They have a lot of like dating shows, particularly The Button, where participants go on like a speed date and they have to ask each other questions while The Button gives them facts about each other. And then as soon as the button turns on, one of them can hit the button to then end the date and the other person has to leave and they swap out. Cody's made a ton of videos about them, and Cody Ko actually got to be on an episode of The Cut. As of a few days ago, The Cut has removed all of their videos involving Cody, except for like one YouTube short that they missed, but all of those videos are gone. And lastly, a new updated reaction to everything. TMG had just recently signed a new up-and-coming podcast starring Inya and Drew, who are also Vine and internet favorites. But their successful podcast, Emergency Intercom, was signed by TMG, but they have since released a statement they were not going to continue their podcast on TMG and take it to somewhere more independent. They posted this on Instagram the other day. Hey everyone, we wanted to make a post to express that we're moving the podcast to be produced independently by us so that in the meantime, no episode this week while we figure out the best plan forward. Thanks for your understanding and patience, Inya and Drew. So another big reaction, people pulling away from Team G, pulling away from Cody. But again, another one of those things that probably wasn't completely avoidable, but some of this pain could have been alleviated if Cody would have just addressed it sooner or addressed it at all. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know, my biggest thing is always taking people's sort of like slip-ups and asking you guys, like, what do you think about it? Is there a road to redemption? Can anybody come back from these things? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Like, where do you think Cody should go from here? What do you think he could have done differently? And do you think that there is a way to come back? Obviously, I think he could have done it differently. He could have made a response to this way sooner. Even if he ignored it the first few times, like a few months ago when it came out again, you know, right after having a child and everything, it seems like he would have looked at the situation and been like, hey, now that I have a wife and kid, I need to start thinking about them too and how all this can affect them. And he should have maybe made some statement there. I know that he wouldn't have came out completely unscathed. He would still have a way to redeem himself. And now I feel like, honestly, as things are right now, there is no way to redeem himself. Most people are calling for him to retire. Most people are expecting him to retire, to sort of just fall out of the limelight and, you know, not come back and just continue doing things behind the scenes. He's an investor in a lot of companies. I know he's been smart with the money that he's made, his investments in the companies that he part owns or is vested. He'll be okay. But honestly, what I think he'll do is kind of just drop off without really addressing it, and take time off and attempt to just sort of come back to YouTube like nothing ever happened. The reason I think that is because if you watch any of his videos, particularly his second channel videos, you can tell he's sort of like lost a lot of interest in it. I know his second channel videos are not meant to be as highly produced or maybe as entertaining, but you can just tell that the way that he shows up that he's not in it anymore. The editing has kind of gotten worse, and he's like, his commentary has kind of gotten worse, and he's just focused on other things. It could be because he has a kid and he just wants to spend time with his child instead of, you know, working or making videos. But yeah, you can tell that he's not in it anymore. I feel like this is that signal for him to be like, hey, I should just stop for a while and maybe come back. And that's kind of like what I feel like is going to happen. I just don't foresee him making a announcement, especially since Noel hasn't made an announcement. And again, nothing on Noel. I don't think Noel really needs to speak on this. He's already been making strides to sort of separate himself from Cody and do things on his own. I think this is up to Cody to make the choice about how he's going to talk about it. But as far as a road to redemption goes, I still think that it's possible for him to be redeemed, but there's no way for him to come back 100% the way he was. Like, he's lost, like, just looking at his social blade, he's lost like 400,000 subscribers in the last month across both of his channels. And he's just hurt a lot of people and a lot of fans. And again, I know this is a parasocial relationship that we're talking about here. I'm actually not physically hurt or emotionally hurt, and I'm definitely not hurt in any way that Tana has been hurt. But it just like sucks to know that this is somebody that a lot of us looked up for entertainment, looked up for, to model our lives after, looked up for their charisma and their work ethic and everything. And just to see it sort of just squandered, and he could have addressed it and showed that he had changed and showed that he realized what was wrong, came forward about it and owned up to it. But instead he's chose to sort of, he's chose to ignore it, censor a lot of people, leave, Kelsey's channel to receive hate for things that he's done instead of addressing it coming forward. It just kind of makes you feel like this person that you looked up to, has been a fake all along. So for those of you watching this, what do you think? Like how do you guys see Cody? How do you plan on, dealing with this? Again, I know this is so silly to think about how I'm asking how people deal with it, because obviously like we're not the victims here, but it just seems like every month another person that you thought was this really great, caring, thoughtful person, this good role model, is no longer a good role model. What do you guys plan on doing? And how are you guys dealing with the whole Cody Ko situation right now? Love to know how you guys feel about it. If you guys have just completely shut off anything to do with Cody and TMG together, or if you think that there's some hope for him to come back, if you think that there is a way for him to smooth the relationship with his fans and gain back the notoriety that he once had. Love to know your thoughts on that. Also, shout out to all of you guys. I want to thank you so much for subscribing. I hit 100 subscribers a week or two ago, and super thrilled on that. I learned that I can now make community posts, so that'll definitely be a part of my strategy now, is being able to put things out there on the community tab so I can ask you guys questions. But I'm also going to make a 100 subscriber video. I know that's like so silly because in the scheme of things, that's not a lot, but for me, it's a huge triumph. I waited so long to start making YouTube videos, and now here I am. We're finally doing it, and I'm excited to share more of my journey with you guys and share more of my thoughts and my commentary, and just make some cool, fun stuff. After all these dramatic situations sort of died down, I don't want to be a drama YouTuber. I want to make commentary, but I also want to make some fun things. And again, I'm going to make a 100 subscriber video, probably talking about my journey and sharing with you guys some of my older videos that you maybe have or have not seen. So really looking forward to that. I think it'll be fun. I think you guys who have been watching me since the beginning and maybe watching this for the first time would really enjoy it. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now so you can watch that video. It'll be a lot of fun. But later on, I'm gonna be making a video about pickleball, and also I'm gonna do a movie review. So that's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm going to review a pretty bad low budget movie. So stick around. I have a lot more content coming your way. Please subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay.